listening to Future in Steel, a podcast series about the Composite Revolution. Brought to you by Tree Composites, winner of the 2025 Chamber of Commerce Innovation Award. Hear how challenges, vision and real-world innovation meet. How leading Dutch companies, innovators and key stakeholders share their vision on the future of industry, steel and manufacturing, strengthening Europe's position as a global economic power in a rapidly shifting geopolitical landscape. Glad you're listening. Welcome to Future in Steel, a podcast series about the Composite Revolution, an industrial transformation that will strengthen Europe. Wherever steel connections come into play, Composite Revolution means improved quality, up to 4 times longer lifetime, 2 times faster production, reduced production costs, lower CO2 emissions, reduced material consumption, and, last but not least, more jobs here in Europe rather than other parts of the world. In Future in Steel, you will hear what is possible from the people who know. Experts working inside the companies prepared to make a difference in this field, brought together by Tree Composites, a TU Delft spin-off and a winner of the Dutch Chamber of Commerce Innovation Award 2025. In this episode, this first episode, we go back to where it all started. What is the Composite Revolution? And why does it suddenly make tendering for offshore wind farms financially attractive? Directly from the voices of Tree Composites CEO Maxim Segeren and CFO Jeroen. Rondeel. Gentlemen, a warm welcome to this first Future in Steel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Koos.
That's a momentous thing. A new podcast series and calling it Future in Steel because that is in fact what we're talking about, Maxim. We're talking about not future of steel. We're talking about future in steel. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I think you're completely right. I would even call it, this is the future of how we build structures.
Yeah.
And that can be steel structures indeed.
Yeah, sure.
So to start off indeed, why are we calling it a composite revolution?
Yeah.
Because we have a breakthrough technology that really creates structures in a different manner. And so if I think back, let's say 15 years ago, my background is in design of foundations for offshore wind.
You started all this, right?
Yes. And when I also gave the course on how to design this during my time at TU Delft, there was one real problem, and that's how to deal with fatigue. So the resistance to cyclic loading that you experience due to waves or to wind. And it was really troublesome. And then a few years later, so 8 years ago, I met a person that said, I solved it. And I'm like, what do you mean? We have done 70 years of, let's say, fatigue improvements. How can you suddenly solve it, right? And he said, no, I wrap steel in composite and then...
Everything's solved.
And I said, no, okay. I was the engineer, like everybody. And then he showed me, right?
Yeah.
He showed me that this is so much better. So what do we as Tree Composites do? We replace welding by placing composite on strategic positions that connects then 2 or more tubulars.
Yeah. And the name of this company, Tree Composites, because the one that invented the technology in a way, he sort of looked at the way a tree grew in his hometown.
Yeah.
And there he got the idea of wrapping.
Yeah. So the inventor, who is Marko Pavlovic, associate professor at TU Delft, he grew up in the neighborhood in the vicinity of Belgrado in Serbia. And he saw a tree just before he came to TU Delft. And it was a plantain. I don't know what the English name for plantain is. Okay.
What's a tree? Beautiful tree.
A beautiful tree, and it grows really wide. And people supported the wide branches with steel rods.
Yeah.
And then the tree placed fibers and material to provide an optimal load transfer.
Yeah.
And he thought, well, if that works, why not try it on steel?
Yeah.
Well, and then we see, hey, this nature-inspired innovation really works, right? Again,
Again, yeah.
Yeah.
It happens often, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think nature is quite the inspiration for us humans, right?
Yeah, it is. Hey, Jeroen, this has enormous effect in Europe and makes Europe stronger. Could you elaborate a bit on that?
Yes. In your introduction, you called it already a composite revolution, and we just started talking about it. But if you have been longer working with this, you know that welding of load-bearing structures will eventually be replaced by composite wraps. This is really a revolution, like Dick Fosbury did at the high jump in 1968 at the Olympic Games in Mexico.
Yeah.
Everyone went knees first, and he first did the Fosbury flop. So he went with his back first, and now there's no athletes in high jump that do it the other way. But it's a better and more functional way of.
We're going to talk a bit more about the number of places where you can use this invention. But this will mean that where the labor concerning the construction of steel elements is now done in China or in the United States or in the Middle East or whatever, that can all be brought back, Maxim, in Europe.
Yes, and I think.
So this is a strategic development as well.
Yes, I think it's a crucial innovation for Europe. It's on its own. If we see the last 20 years, we see that everything that is big and requires lots of labor moves, let's say, eastward.
Yeah.
We have significant yards, right? We had significant shipyards. We still have, I think, a few in Europe, but we're losing the game. And now, again, we see, hey, we still have to install 90% of our European goals, right, on renewable power offshore, which means that, it's just, so 270 gigawatts, so 10,000 of these structures need to be built. And per structure, you need 50,000 hours of labor. And if we don't do anything, we will lose that entire scope to a lower wage country, such as Asia.
Yeah.
And we've seen this also already happening. And that means that on a single wind farm, we're losing 1 billion of investments in local yards. And that goes to the other side of the world. And I don't think it's healthy to be dependent to realize your own energy transition by having to rely on outside Europe yards to do that.
Exactly. And even more, look, again, as I stated in the intro, I mean, improved quality, up to 4 times longer lifetime of a structure with this invention, twice as fast in production, reduced production costs as a consequence of that, lower CO2 emissions in making it, not a very important thing to do as well, and reduced material consumption. I mean,
it almost sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we get that comment as well. And that's, I think that's also where people really struggle. And me including when we started, right? But we have done 7 years of testing. So it's not based on a belief. Right?
This is not a dream. This is reality now.
This is reality. All tests have been done.
Yeah.
We have gathered all the data on, let's say, uncertainties that you have. The next step is just implementation, right?
Exactly.
But again, zoom out. What are we actually doing? We're ensuring that Europe can build its own foundations for deeper waters instead of having to rely outside of Europe.
Yeah.
And if we don't do anything, the European yards will go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And
the technology and the knowledge and everything will go away.
Yes. Well, I think our ability, our autonomy will be declining.
Well, and that happens to be a very important thing these days.
Yes, and I think rightfully so. I think it's very, I think even strategically, but I think it's more absolute necessity to make sure that we can.
I think we have a name for that. It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, according
okay.
to me, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jeroen,
Yes.
we've touched upon wind farms in deep water.
Yep.
Because this is especially applicable to structures, wind farm structures in deep water. Now, I may be a very simple newspaper reader. When I read the newspaper, I only read articles about tenders. Nobody wants to attend. Nobody's participating. This is you cannot earn a buck on making a wind farm anymore. The funny thing is, if you use this,
It's a lot easier.
Tell me.
Yeah, well, apart from all the facts that you mentioned, that is cheaper. I think the main thing that we should address, but that doesn't. We need the government, the Dutch government as well for that. Is that we can use these structures for 100 years, because after you use composite wraps, the weakest point in a structure is no longer the weld, but is the steel itself.
Yeah, and a weld goes for 25 years in the present, right?
Yeah.
25 to 35, depending on the project.
This goes for 100.
Well, the composite wrap is 5,000 times
5,000 times
stronger than the weld. But
gets even more crazy than that.
10,000 or
no, 5,000.
5,000 times.
I remember it well.
Okay.
But the thing is that you can reuse the structure. So imagine building these structures means you need all the vessels to install these jackets. Then after 25 years, you need to decommission them. You only have to do that procedure once.
Yeah, but
in 100 years. But
your infrastructural work that is divided by 4.
Exactly.
In this respect.
So
isn't it?
Yes, indeed, and which means that you install it once, you disturb the local ecology once.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not an unimportant thing.
It's around 1 billion scope per wind farm.
Yeah.
You save 750.
Yes, and I think strategically, again, if you look 20 years ahead, then to maintain our renewable power output, we now have to decommission entire wind farms and put new ones out there.
Yeah.
That's the only option that we currently have. And I don't know what happens in 20 years, but I don't believe that we will increase our wealth. So we will be more dependent and more vulnerable to steel prices.
Yeah.
What if you have the option to keep certain infrastructure out there? And I think we should invest as a society in it.
Sure.
Of course, it helps us as well. But I do strongly believe that it is not something that we should neglect, right? What happens in 25 years?
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah, but then if you have an option to keep foundations out there, you save now 1 billion, but let's say in 25 years it might be 3 billion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which allows you to keep your own electricity prices in your own, let's say, domestic market low.
But it's independence. It's independence all over.
Yeah.
Strategic independence all over.
But this is a very good idea, I think. The only thing is that currently tenders are not written that way. So you have to install both the jacket and the wind turbine, and you have to decommission it after 25 years.
Yeah,
but what we need is working together, the industry with the government, to make this happen. And like Maxim said, put the infrastructure there, lease it out to the project developers, and then you can decrease the cost of a wind farm.
Yeah, but that is the definition of innovation: is looking at things differently and try to solve problems.
So what is against, let's say, doing this? I don't know if you're aware, but if you look 20 years back, then the biggest turbine was 2 megawatt, right? We're currently going to 20, which is, let's say, 9-fold or 10-fold in 20 years' time. However, now the jumps are way lower, right? Because you also see that is the struggle of, this was the only way to keep up with, let's say, price increases, that you increase the power output.
Yeah.
But as we see that is stagnating, right? Although you have some suppliers, but above 50 megawatts, it's becoming more harder at least. to realize it. So if we consider, let's say, 20 or 25 will be, I think, maybe the most optimal way, because in reliability and outroll, then if we could, let's say, keep for a certain period this turbine size, let's say a maximum height, then I think for a let's say independence or reliability of or security of energy consumption, which we need in Europe, then especially then the lifetime of the foundation will become more important.
Yeah.
Well, currently they say, in 25 years we anyway want to get it out. Where now, if you see the first wind farms of the Netherlands, they don't want to take it out. Why? Because they are earning money.
Yeah.
So they want to keep it out. So when they started, they never imagined that they would like to prolong it, because that in their financial model doesn't make sense. But once you are there, then they see, hey, it actually earns money. So why are we
decommissioning?
why do we decommission it? So lifetime does have a value also for the project developer, because his asset, which is out there, has a higher, let's say, a value at the end of his first project lifetime.
Yeah, but are people looking at the right way? Because it's so obvious, I guess. What's wrong?
It's within the current paradigm. This doesn't make sense. A lot of people said to us, don't mention it, that it's 4 times longer lifetime, because it's not relevant to the project developers.
At this
That's
moment,
the advice we got.
Well, there is value. However, you cannot bank on it right now, right?
Yeah.
Because, why? But this is a feature, right? You don't have to pay more, at least not in this moment, for a longer lifetime, right? But if you have that feature, as in, okay, you don't pay, but you have the option to actually prolong, and you have almost, let's say, in human life, an infinite lifetime of your, at least the most structural vulnerable parts, then it gives you the option that you currently don't have.
Yeah.
And it comes for free. And I think that is worthwhile considering also from governmental point of view. Can we not see the foundations as an infrastructure instead of just a project-based asset?
Right? Well, and that brings me to a bit of good news. You're mentioning the government. I mean, the Chamber of Commerce recently awarded you to be the prize of the Innovation Award. The Innovation was you're the most innovative company in the Netherlands in 2020-25.
Yeah, you see me smiling, yes.
I see you smiling, yeah. And everybody who is watching this podcast, because it's a video podcast as well, that is what you're doing. That is incredible. And I have to say, the Dutch Minister of Economic Affairs, Karemans, has himself on his personal LinkedIn account has stated that he is very glad that this has happened. So that's positive news, isn't it?
I think that's mildly said, right? It's amazing to get this recognition, right? When you start, then you believe, and then you see other people following. Hey, yes, you become to get a movement, but it's no longer a movement, right?
No.
It's to get this recognition also from the minister, right? It's
it's good.
It does say, hey guys, this is a serious option for us. This is a serious innovation. We should take it and try to help it get implemented as fast as possible, right?
Yeah. And
so I'm extremely proud also of not only let's say that we started it, but also the road towards this
and
point.
all the people that have contributed to this, right?
Yeah. So
it's a lot of hard work here,
and we have something to give back, like we just said. I think this technology, this invention, can be an asset also for the Netherlands. And as a Minister of Economic Affairs, he should.
You can say that.
Recognize that. So.
You can say that again, because you have defined, Jeroen, 28 or 26, I'm not sure, but I thought 28 different places where this technology can be implemented. We've been talking about wind farms all the time, and which of course is a very important thing, and that's the earliest way of large scale applying this invention. But you have determined that there are 28 other places where you can use this. mention a few examples.
Bridges, sluices. A very popular one here around here is roller coasters. So there's a lot of Maxim can mention more by heart, but the things that come
basically in English we call them lattice. So if they're made out of multiple tubulars or members, that's where we can make the difference.
Yeah.
And this also means that the impact is not only in offshore wind. This will become the next standard of how you connect tubulars. And we're not talking about billions. We're talking about 100 billions is the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing it's new, and that's why we're already working on this for almost 8 years, gathering all the data. Because new means, hey, will it work? And we now know, and we can say with all the data, yes, it will work.
Mm-hmm.
If I put you on the spot and ask you, look, give us an idea of the full potential of this, what do you say?
Well, it's global as anyway, because everywhere around the world you have this only wind in Europe, and let's say also the substation that TenneT makes, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are multi-million markets, right? Yearly. Right?
Multi-billion markets.
Yeah, and if you really see it, then the 90% that we still have to install, let's say we have 270 gigawatts at, let's make it simple. Let's make 250 gigawatts that we have to install in the next 25 years at 4 billion per gigawatt. So 1 trillion. I
1
think.
trillion.
That's, let's say, offshore wind only.
Yeah.
That is the market. Let's say that is the total value of offshore wind. Well, then we're talking about 20% is, I think 15-20% is the foundation. So this is our market where we operate in,
It's
only in this market.
It's enormous. And you talked about bridges. And
Yep.
I connect that to the increase of spending on the defense budget, 1.5% on infrastructure. That
Also,
goes into bridges as well.
yeah, and last Monday, Rijkswaterstaat and ProRail also claimed that they had 50 billion backlog in maintenance. So
Yeah. I read
issues
that.
with bridges
that.
and to replace all that is an enormous operation, of course. But with this technology, you could also prolong the lifetime by using composite wraps there in the places where the structure is failing.
It's an enormous opportunity. And the money is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to add, Maxime, a number of companies in the Netherlands and outside of the Netherlands, they have already acknowledged the importance of this development, isn't it?
Yeah. So just going back when we started, I didn't start it and then looked for partners. No, we started we started looking for partners and interest of the market before we started the company. So first we did 1 year of exploration, and then we found partners such as Vattenfall, Shell, and
to mention a few small ones.
Yeah, they said, actually, well, this is a good idea. Okay, do you, if you see it, okay, what's in it for you? Do you agree with this? And they said yes. Okay, are you then also willing to co-invest? Well, not co-invest, but contribute to develop the technology, but also you don't get any, let's say, control.
Yeah,
because we are developing this for the entire market.
Yeah.
And they were. And then now you see down the road, and we added partners such as Parkwind, which is now called Jeroen next BP, which is the third largest developer now at the world.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have yards such as Smulders and HSM Offshore in Schiedam, but also interest from other yards in Europe. Really seeing, hey, we need to do something.
Yeah.
If we don't do anything, we lose our jobs and we lose our work because the Chinese are competing us out of the tenders with price.
And the Chinese are very interested in this as well, I heard whispering.
Yes, I cannot mention this too loud, but yes, they have given us multiple calls asking us to explain it to them, such that they can produce it. Of course, we are protected with patents and everything, but we really see that, okay, I think it's very important to Europe to keep this technology in Europe, to stay ahead of competition, to be smarter and more innovative than only compete on labor prices, which currently is done.
So a lot of companies have jumped on the bandwagon, and justifiably so.
Mhm.
What has to happen, Jeroen, to get this whole thing going in a faster gear?
Well, the first two jobs that we have to do is that we need to get a certification on A level to apply this offshore, because no one's going to apply this when there's no certification on it. So that's what we're working on currently.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that you can imagine that the first composite joints were hand laminated.
Yeah.
And that's not the way you produce for a wind farm. So we need semi-automated production line, and that we're looking for investors at the moment. Yeah,
that's a challenge. That's a challenge.
But maybe just to mention on the first milestone, it's not that we have to really. So the data is all there.
Yeah.
But having a qualification means you have to pay an external party like really, really a lot of money. And that you do normally when you have a project inside.
Yeah.
So that is the combination, and also why we have to invest in that part. And the second part is more that it is a necessity to guarantee a volume to the client, which then allows you to then go into the next phase with them.
Yeah.
So it's really meeting the market needs instead of just pushing a technology. Is listening to the market parties, what is required from your side, and we have these major two milestones, and after that we can grow autonomously, I think.
But just to make things clear, this is not a dream. This is proven technology that, okay, you have to go through a few hurdles, hop over a few hurdles to get this done and produce it large scale. Obviously, fine, but it is proven technology.
It all defines what you mean with proven. So we have built already in 2023 a full floater for Tier 1 consortium for DME and Jan de Nul, which are big parties. We did this successfully. I think one of the things we didn't mention yet is that we are able with optical fibers to track our lifetime of our joints, which means that, we don't only say that they are reliable, we actually give you data that shows it is reliable.
You can show it.
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Jeroen, everything costs money, and developing things like this on a scale that you desire, that costs money. So you're looking for investors, isn't that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Tell us more.
Well, for the two main hurdles that we need to meet in the coming years, we talk about 6 million. After that, we need to build a full factory to provide enough capacity to provide a full wind farm with composite joints. But the first hurdle is 6 million, and we talks with many parties. They're all very interested, but we haven't closed our the deal yet. So we still are talking, and we also started with family and friends, and now in the private campaign, and now we also have a public campaign on iVester.
Exactly.
Started a few weeks ago. Going quite well, actually. We're really pleased with that. So there are a lot of people who recognize that this is a unique possibility to invest. I also think, and it's not to urge people to jump to iVester now.
You don't give an
but
advice,
I think this will be the last private round that we have, because after this the rounds will be larger, because the full factory is a bigger investment, and I expect that we will find a lot of strategic investors who are interested in that.
Isn't it this type of investment is to bridge actually from the present situation to a large scale development? Isn't that right?
Yes, and one question that we get more often also from let's say talks is, hey, why do you need to do this on your own? And it's not that we're doing this on our own. we're working with partners to automate, and it's not that we are inventing things that are already out there. It's just that, okay, to produce the joint, you need to do something which is non-existing.
Yeah.
So we developed that also, how to do that in a scalable manner. And you have to imagine that, okay, what you produce, you also need to predict, right?
Yeah.
So, and those are interconnected. So if somebody else is going to make a joint without us knowing how you make it, we cannot predict its lifetime.
No.
So they are connected. So any competitor that you would see rising needs to do both as well.
Yeah.
Because you cannot say, oh yeah, I produce something and then, okay, what's the capacity, and nobody knows, right?
Yeah.
So it is very hard to copy. Well, it does look simple.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict and actually promise the reliability if you don't know what you make or what the performance will be.
Yeah.
So that's why it's also, it took quite a lot of years, but we are way ahead of competition in this case.
Exactly. And in terms of the iVester campaign, it's still open. So if
It's still open,
if
yes.
people are interested, just take a look and see what you think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a unique opportunity. There are not so many cases that I came across that a company that will go to the market probably will build the first wind farm in at least the joints for the first wind farm in 2030. That will increase in revenues that fast. We talk about 250 million for one single wind farm. And that's only one wind farm. And like we mentioned earlier, this technology is applicable in 28 other industries.
That's our start, right? When we are actually at the point that we deliver what we promise. Yeah. And then we're starting, right? Yeah. So the ambition is quite high. It suits me as well. And one thing that I wanted to say is that we don't take these things lightly. So also if persons invest, I do take it very seriously. Yeah. Because I want to succeed and I will succeed.
Yeah. And you have succeeded in the past.
Yes. And maybe one of the other things that is good to mention is that we ask for help where we need it. So we also enter now this accelerator program, which is called Make Next platform. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Where you get quite a scrutiny of very experienced people. And that's a program led by ASML, Van der Lande, Thales and Huisman that all want
to mention a few small names.
Yeah, yeah. So we are selected to be part of that program, such that they can help us with the challenges of a fast-growing, well, potentially unicorn in the future, right?
Yeah.
So this also strengthens the belief, right? That we're not doing something small. We're really breaking through to a very conservative way of making steel structures. And if we succeed, then this will be not small. It will be gigantic, not even big. It will be gigantic. And I believe it will be gigantic. Yeah.
So that's a very interesting timeline, Jeroen.
Yes, it sure is. If you imagine that this company was incorporated, I think 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
You know.
And in 5 years' time from now, we will be part of a wind farm.
It's well, that's what genius is. That can grow fast.
Yeah, and I think what I more and more realize over the past few years is that you succeed not due to success only of your team, but really in partnership, right? So suppliers, partners, and also indeed your clients. We need to collaborate, and we need to see how we get this as fast as possible into the market. That's
you cannot oppose this. This is
what you
too
can.
Good.
Yeah. I think it's too good.
It's too good for society. I mean,
like Maxim said, it's almost too good to be true. But the point is, all the facts point in the same direction.
Yeah, we have even people that are asking, okay, you should stay real. Okay, I'm very happy that you react like this, right? But then let's go into conversation, because if you don't believe, I will make you believing it, because it is seeing is believing. But
if anybody doubts, they can give you a call, isn't it?
The biggest critics are now our ambassadors.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Look, we're talking, this is the first podcast in a series. It's called Future in Steel because it is the future in steel. What can people expect of this podcast series?
I think a lot. I think we will also want to explain more why it works,
Yeah.
right? And what we actually solve technically.
Yeah.
But I also would like, if that's possible, to talk a bit on, what do we do on this side of the world on innovation and implementing it?
Exactly.
Because I think we have to realize that we are not moving fast enough. And outside of this postcard, I also will work on this with my fellow innovators in the Netherlands and maybe even in Europe to call for more, let's say, speed, right? And that speed requires funds, because that's the only thing that are missing is real funds for implementation offshore. And implementation offshore, we're talking about a single demonstrator is 60 million.
Yeah.
It's not something that let's say investors just normally do.
Yeah.
And the risk is really big.
Yeah.
So I think we should dedicate some time on that.
Yeah, and I think you will also hear the strategic partners and the critics that turned into ambassadors.
Exactly. We're going to put a number of companies into the limelight.
Yeah.
Because they have embraced this.
Yeah.
Maybe being critics at the first time, in the first place, but they embrace this now, and they support it as well the way they can support this.
Yeah, and I think they have a few options, and I think this is, I think it's really worth their support, and we are there not for, let's say, let's make it a little bit differently said. I think I'm not in it for a short-term gain.
No.
I'm really in it for the impact that it can create. It can create a better world for me right now, but also I think for the future generations, I think it is strategically important to have this out there as fast as possible. Because if we can utilize the same amount of material and make 2 foundations where we currently can only make 1, this is all one step.
Exactly. So if you want to know more in the future in steel, if you want to know more, keep tuned. And we'll be back with more episodes, with more very, very interesting people talking about what is going to happen and what should happen, but also what has been developed already.
And maybe also some real experts also from the team would be...
I think that would be wonderful as well, because it's all, these people have done a tremendous job. Thank you
and
very
are
much.
Still doing it, yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. And looking forward to the next episode.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Future in Steel, a glimpse into Europe's industrial future, with thanks to Maxim Segeren and Jeroen Rondeel. And if you want to know more about how your company can benefit from the Composite Revolution, or if you are interested in investing and becoming part of this development, don't hesitate to contact Tree Composites. They'll be very happy to assist you. And for now, my name is Koos Woltjes, and see you in the next Future in Steel. You have been listening to The Future in Steel, a podcast series about the Composite Revolution, brought to you by Tree Composites, winner of the 2025 Chamber of Commerce Innovation Award. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this series on your favorite podcast platform, or visit the Tree Composite website for additional resources. Thank you again for listening, and we look forward to bringing you more insight in The Future in Steel.